Hey, what's up guys? So today I am going to review the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. I have been using it as my daily driver alongside the VIVO V23 Pro for the better part of 2 weeks now. On paper, both these devices provide almost the same level of performance, have amazing designs, and are being marketed as good camera phones. So in this video, instead of making a head-on review of the Reno 7 Pro, I will be going through my overall experience using the phone and whether you should get this one over the V23 Pro or not. So let's get right into it. But before getting into the video, let's talk about how our phones are so vulnerable to damage. There's always a risk of dropping them accidentally or getting water spilled on it. But what if I tell you that you can get your new smartphone protected with OneAssist that can save you from expensive repairs? OneAssist has various protection plans that can get your phone's accidental or liquid damage covered. You can also get extended warranty coverage with OneAssist Extended Warranty Plan. In case of iPhones, you can claim multiple claims up to device value for a tenure of 1 year. OneAssist provides you with doorstep pickup and drop service and charges 8% of the value of the smartphone for this plan. For an Android phone, you can get coverage of 1 year at the same plan price. These phones are serviced at OEM authorized service centers. However, this plan does not cover manufacturing defects, damaged accessories, or damage caused by improper handling. For manufacturing defects, you can go for OneAssist Extended Warranty Plan for iPhones and Android. It guarantees you an extended 1-year warranty period post the end of manufacturer's warranty period. You can buy this plan within 60 days of buying your phone. Do check out about OneAssist accidental damage, liquid damage, as well as warranty plans from the links in the description. Alright, so when it comes to the design, Oppo phones never disappoint. I mean, they always have something refreshing and eye-catching to show for, and the Reno 7 Pro is no different. It does not exactly change colors like the V23 Pro, but it sure has its own thing going on. Here, Oppo has used a signature glow at the back, which gives off a shimmering and gradient finish. And then there's the camera module that glows upon incoming notifications, charging, or when you get a call. I think it looks really cool and it kind of reminds me of Samsung's Galaxy J2 Pro from back in 2016. Looks aside, the phone feels very up-class on the hands too. Oppo has paired this glass back with aluminium frames, as a result of which the Reno 7 Pro has a good heft to it. While the back is quite slippery, this iPhone-like boxy build makes sure you get a good grip too. All in all, even though its design is clearly inspired by iPhones, I kind of prefer it over the V23 Pro's curved back. It also has Panda glass protection at the back, unlike the V23 Pro that uses no form of glass protection on its rear panel. So the Oppo Reno 7 Pro should be more resistant to scratches and other minor impacts. Plus, another thing that I love about this finish is that the phone does not catch fingerprints and smudges at all, which makes life much easier for someone like me who does not like using a cover. On the display front, well, things are not that different between these two phones. You get a similar 6.5 inches AMOLED panel here with a 90Hz refresh rate, 120Hz touch sampling rate, and HDR10 Plus compliance. This screen is plenty bright and feels smooth and responsive to use. Plus, the core quality of this display is also very good, which makes it an excellent option for multimedia consumption. But there's one important thing that you need to know about the Reno 7 Pro's display. Although it supports HDR video playback on Amazon Prime, there is no HDR playback on Netflix as of yet. So that's quite strange, to be honest. Also, its refresh rate is not adaptive, meaning that you will have to stick with either 90Hz or 60Hz. There is no middle ground between the two. I kept it at 90Hz all the time, and thankfully I did not notice any optimization issues, which is great. But still, I have come to expect a smoother 120Hz refresh rate on smartphones in this price bracket, so I am slightly let down in this aspect. Other than that, the optical in-display fingerprint sensor here works like a charm, and I found its haptic feedback to be quite good as well. It's very subtle and it's definitely better than the V23 Pro's mushy feedback. Also, unlike the V23 Pro, you get dual speakers on the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. They're not necessarily louder than the competition, but sound more balanced. Vivo's single speaker delivers pronounced highs with little bass to enjoy, whereas Reno's audio output has a good balance of lows, mids, and highs. And I definitely prefer its audio over the V23 Pro. Alright, let's talk about the cameras now. Spoiler alert, I found its cameras to be fairly good, if not the best performing at its price range. At the back, there's a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel primary Sony IMX766 sensor alongside an 8 megapixel ultrawide and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Interestingly, there's also something called a color temperature sensor here, which supposedly improves color accuracy in an image by detecting light around the subject. Anyway, the normal daytime photos from the main camera here have a very subtle color reproduction, which is something most brands don't go for. Usually Samsung, Realme, Vivo, and even OnePlus's color optimization is on the saturated side, so in comparison, you will get relatively flatter images from its cameras. Therefore, if you're someone who likes editing their photos before posting on social media, Oppo gives a more flexible option here. Details in images are also decent, and HDR works well in almost all instances here. I am especially impressed with how the IMX709 sensor on the Reno 7 Pro manages to maintain background exposure in selfies even in harsh sunny conditions. Talking more about the selfies, they're well detailed and with good HDR processing. You can notice a slight red or pink tint in some instances, but overall this 32 megapixel selfie camera does not disappoint. Oppo also advertises this phone as the portrait expert, and on my test, for the most part, it did manage to bring out fairly good-looking portraits with a well-exposed background. However, I feel like the shadow processing on subjects could have been better as they appear a bit dark at times. Nighttime shots also have good details in them when you zoom in, but they're also quite noisy. Then again, Reno 7 Pro's night mode works really well to remove noise and bring out clear, bright, and even more detailed shots. And the good thing is that this camera does not take a lot of time to process night mode pictures either. So if you're out at night and want to try some nighttime photography, the Reno 7 Pro will not disappoint. However, I wish I could say the same about its ultra-wide-angle images too. They're just average and are lacking in terms of details and color processing compared to the primary camera. Also, most of the time, the images come out hazy for no reason. And if you are a vlogger, I would not recommend this phone for you either. First off, the selfie videos here are capped at 1080p 30fps only, and natively its exposure control is not that good as well. Turning on the AI mode does help with balancing the exposure to some extent though. As for rear cameras, you can record up to 4K resolution at 30fps, but there's no stabilization in the footages. It's only at 1080p 30fps or 60fps that you can get somewhat steady videos. So if you're someone who shoots videos just casually, the Reno 7 Pro can do a fine job, but it's certainly not meant for anything more than that. In conclusion, the Oppo Reno 7 Pro is a good camera phone for casual photography. However, it does not deliver anything exceptional in the videography aspect. As a result, it definitely is not a balanced camera phone overall, but will do for general users. Moving on, the Reno 7 Pro is the first phone to feature the custom Dimensity 1200 Max chipset. For this, Oppo has collaborated with MediaTek, just like what OnePlus did with the Dimensity 1200 AI on the OnePlus Nord 2. To note, the 1200 Max is supposed to provide 22% faster processing and 25% more power efficiency compared to the standard Dimensity 1200. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I have been using the Reno 7 Pro besides the VIVO V23 Pro with Dimensity 1200 chip. And during normal everyday usage, I did not find any significant difference between the two. Both phones are fast enough and show no signs of distress even under heavy multitasking. But during gaming, I did notice the Reno 7 Pro bearing slightly more stable results, especially in demanding titles like Genshin Impact. I played the game on both phones at the highest of settings in 60fps mode and got very similar FPS. But as you can see from this chart, the Reno 7 Pro delivers better stability. In other games like PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile, I got similar results with both devices being able to manage 100% stability in their respective highest settings. Oppo has also optimized some games to take advantage of the 90Hz refresh rate here. For instance, I played Mech Arena in its highest settings and achieved 90 FPS with 99% stability. However, other games like Oddmar that also have a 90 FPS mode were limited to 60 FPS only. Overall, I have to say that the Reno 7 Pro's gaming performance is really good. I like how the phone manages to give stable results in almost all games I tested. But do keep in mind that the phone gets warm after a few heavy gaming sessions. Moving on, this phone boots on Android 11 with ColorOS 12 on top. For me, Android 11 on a premium mid-range phone in 2022 is completely unacceptable. There are rumors of the Android 12 update arriving very soon, although there is no official statement from Oppo yet. Moreover, the company has not specified how many OS updates the Reno 7 Pro will receive over the years either. So this is something that Oppo needs to address ASAP. About ColorOS, well, there's the usual set of customizations, gestures, and not to mention a ton of pre-installed apps. We know that these things are not new to ColorOS, so naturally the first thing I did after setting up the phone was try to uninstall them. And good thing is that most of them can be uninstalled. Great. Oppo has also introduced something called Omoji here, which is pretty similar to Apple's Memoji. With this, what you can do is create digital avatars of yourself and keep them as always on display and such. I found it quite interesting and therefore made one Omoji of myself too. Getting to the battery life, well, I have been pretty satisfied with it so far. The Reno 7 Pro features a larger 4500 mAh battery compared to the 4300 mAh cell on the VIVO V23 Pro. Pair that with Oppo's aggressive battery optimization, I got around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time under moderate usage, which included a lot of phone calls, testing, social media usage, and watching videos every now and then. Charging this phone is super fast too. Well, not as fast as the Xiaomi 11T Pro with its 120-watt charging, but Oppo's proprietary 65-watt Super VOOC charger gets this device from 0 to 100% in around 32 minutes only. In conclusion, the Oppo Reno 7 Pro is most definitely a head-turner of a phone in terms of its design, while its display, speakers, and battery life are pretty solid too. However, I feel like the company could have optimized the cameras better in terms of portraits. Also, I found its lack of better video recording capability and the fact that it still runs on Android 11 to be a sore spot for me. And not to forget, like with most Oppo phones, the Reno 7 Pro is priced slightly higher for the specs it offers as well. Yes, you can get some discounts in the offline market, so what I would say is that it's not exactly a bad choice in its price range. So guys, that was all for our full review of the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. I will be coming up with a camera comparison between these two phones, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Till then, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.